She's a certified trainer, and she consults to schools on the UK curriculum, IGCSE, and teacher development. She sits on the Penang Education Council and Wawasan Open University Research Ethics Board. Today, Datin Indranee will discuss classroom behavior management in secondary schools, a topic that is very relevant to not only young teachers, but also the more seasoned ones. We know only too well that unless a teacher is able to manage her students and get them engaged in the lesson she has so painstakingly prepared, no learning can take place. Datin Indranee, over to you. Datin Indranee, you are muted.
Thanks. Thank you very much for the very kind introduction. I'm very delighted to be able to talk about classroom management. I learned about classroom management in 2001 when my husband and I and our very young boys went to England. Dr. Liew was given a JPA scholarship to pursue child and adolescent psychiatry in Oxford. I had to work because the scholarship was not enough. So because I had 13 years teaching experience in college before that, I applied and I was accepted because I also have a teaching certificate. Now, when I was there, I was very shocked by the behavior of the children, especially in the secondary schools. Because I remember when I was in secondary school, we will listen quietly while the teacher is teaching. We will offer to carry our teachers' books and bags and all that. Yeah. What happened was that it was a shock to me teaching in public schools or government schools in Oxford. These are some of the things that happened or was said. Year 7, Form 1. Miss, are you Chinese? Yes. Then why are you teaching? You should be running a takeaway. The boy wanted me to chao fan for him. You see, they like Chinese takeaway. So I told him, I'm sorry, I can't cook, but I can teach. Stare. The other one was, I don't want a chink teaching me English. Okay? Chink is a very rude, derogatory term for a Chinese. And now I want to ask you, why do you think this particular boy said that? He was testing me. And then there's one other thing. If I get upset and I take him out to the principal's office, what then happens is that the whole class doesn't have to learn. And that's what they actually, especially the boys that will be teaching, will be disturbing the teacher. Okay? Why? Because, all right, they wanted something. And today, what I'm going to tell you is what behavior is and what causes behavior. And when we know what causes behavior, then we as teachers can do something about it. Right, let me share slides. Okay, can you see the slides? Yes? Thumbs up. Okay, yes, thank you. So we're talking about managing behavior in the secondary classroom. Can you see the second slide? Sorry, I've moved on to the second slide. Can you all see it?
Can see.
No.
Can see.
Sorry, I can't hear you all.
Can see.
Oh, you can see. Okay. So, right. Classroom behavior management, okay, we focus on two things. One is how to prevent the misbehavior. And then the other part is how to intervene, provide intervention. Okay. Now, how do you prevent the children, okay, from misbehaving in the first place? First of all, they need to have positive relationships with the teacher, with their classmates, and with other people in the school. Next, okay, the environment should be safe for them and predictable. Okay, for example, the reason why we have timetables and we have recess at a certain time every day is to make sure that the environment is predictable. All right. What about class? Okay, how you can also use peer coaching, the better students to help the others. Yeah. Classroom organization, you need to organize the classroom in such a way that it reduces misbehavior, and then effective teaching. When the students are bored, they are not learning, okay, that's when they will look around, and that's when the hand will come and poke, the kind of things. Make a paper plane and then throw. That's what they will do. So now, how if there's already misbehavior, what can we do about it? Well, we need direct as well as indirect intervention. Direct intervention is you talk to the child, okay? First warning, second, third, all right? Indirect intervention would be moving the children, the two that like to talk, they don't sit next to each other, okay? Then behavioral data and behavioral function, especially important with students who are constantly misbehaving, as well as children with special educational needs. Okay, let me give you an example. There was this boy, 9 years old, with autism. He doesn't speak, but he's able to write and do his work. Okay, so he was put in the first row so that the teacher is closer to him. Now, he was fine, for a few months at school. And the kids actually involved him in play. Now, one day, he suddenly got up and walked around the class. Teacher asked him to sit down. He insisted on moving. Excuse me. All right. This happened every day. And, okay, I started collecting data. What time does he get up? Is it a certain time or not? Then suddenly we realized he would get up around about 11:45 to 12. Okay. And is it any particular teacher, any particular subject? No. Whichever class is on at that time, he will get up and he walk. Some of the teachers got a bit worried, wondering whether any what they call that spirit around. Okay, so what I did was that I asked Silviana Bonade from the Two-Way Center. Silviana is a special needs teacher. So Silviana came to the class at about 11:15, 11:20, that is before it started, and sat at the back of the class. And true enough, this boy stood up and walked at 11:45. So Sylvian asked him to go back. He refused. All right, try to talk to him, tak boleh. Okay, then in the end, what she did was that she decided to sit down because she wanted to check whether there were any, nails or whatever, in the desk or the chair or something. So she was feeling around, nothing. Then when she looked out the window, aha, she found out why the boy was behaving like that. You see, about 1.5 weeks before that, a new teacher had been employed. And this new teacher will park her car right outside the classroom window. So what do you think happened at 11:45? No hantu, bright sunshine. What happened was the sunlight reflected off the teacher's car's windscreen right into the classroom, into this boy's eyes. But you see, he didn't know how to tell. Okay, so it was a good thing that we have access to a special needs teacher, And she found out. If not, can you imagine, after that, another week, I think he'll kena marah, isn't it? For not sitting down. Yeah. So that is behavioral data, getting information about the behavior, behavioral function. So why did he stand up? Because the sun was shining in his eyes. So that was the function of his behavior, to get away from the sunlight. So now, what do we do? Okay, what do we do? Because if I exchange another child, the other child will also have the same problem. The light is there, right? So got the teacher to park somewhere else. Settle the problem. Okay. Now, then special assistance is what I had access to. I had Sylvian, the special needs educator. Okay. Now, this one. In Malaysia, we got this problem about spanking and not spanking children. Okay. It never pays to use violence on a child or a teenager. Why? Because you are teaching them to be violent next time. Okay, so please, no spanking, no hitting and all that. That affects children. My husband, Dr. Lai, is a child and adolescent psychiatrist, and he's had many children, okay, coming to him, mainly primary school children, and they don't want to go to school. It's an issue of school refusal. Okay, why? Either they're being bullied at school, or alternatively, what's happening is that they are being literally abused by the teachers. I know of one boy, all right, didn't go to school for one day because he was sick. Then Friday is the day he was sick. Now, on Fridays, apparently the BM teacher will give one list of ejaan words. And you must understand this boy is year 2. Because he didn't go to school on that day, what happened the following Monday was there was the ejaan test and he was forced to do it. And what happened was that he had 5 mistakes. I thought it was quite good. That means he could do 5 on his own, even though he didn't study. He made 5 mistakes. The problem with that teacher is anyone who gets 3 mistakes or more, rotan. And this boy, all right, at home, the parents don't believe in rotan and all that. They believe in what's written on scale, non-violent discipline. So what then happened was that the boy started to get sick on Mondays, okay, and he really does have a fever before going. Then, all right, he'll have a lot of tummy ache and headaches and all that. And it was caused by that because he was so stressed. He has never been like beaten like that before. And then what happened was that even though he was not beaten, because after that, what happened? He'll make sure he gets 10 out of 10. He will call his mother 3 times or 4 times on Monday morning at school just to practice the ejaan words. And every time he saw his classmates being beaten, he was traumatized. And that child is actually my son. Okay, and we had to remove him from the school. Okay, we had to remove him from the school. And we put him into a private school. But can you just imagine how many other children suffering because they can't go to private school? The parents can't afford. Yeah. So be careful. You spank a young boy, next time when he grows up, okay, he hits the father and the mother. Dr. Lai has had cases. Okay. You spank a young boy, next round, when he's married, he hits. Okay, so please, non-violent discipline. And one more thing, non-violent communication, NVC, non-violent communication. You can get a lot of information online about this. So sometimes you say, why are you so stupid? It's actually violent communication. No? You want me to smack you? It's all violent communication. Okay. Behavior is functionally related to the teaching environment. Behavior is what the student does. Okay. The teaching environment includes everything that happens before, during, and after that particular behavior by the student. Okay. So my autistic boy, okay, before, during, and after, we had to observe him. Okay, that means what happened before he started getting up from his seat, what happened during, okay, getting up from the seat, he'll walk around and stand. And after that, okay, about 15 minutes later, he'll go and sit down. Yeah. Okay, next. All behavior is learned. Okay, these are the fundamentals of behavior. All behavior is learned. This is very important. If behavior can be learned, it means that we can unlearn it. Okay, and if behavior can be learned, it means that we can teach right behavior. Okay, next is behavior serves a function. Like my little boy, he got up, his behavior walked around the classroom because he didn't want the sun in his eyes. The environment impacts behavior. When are people more grouchy, especially in the classroom? When it's a very hot day or when it's a cool day? You know, isn't it? When you're warm, you get irritable. Noise, construction going on, you get so irritated, isn't it? Next, skill deficits impact behavior. Children may be misbehaving because they don't know how to. They don't have the skill, okay, to ask for help. Maybe they don't know how to do a particular an exercise. They get upset. All right. So you need to teach skills in the classroom. Okay. Then next, teach approach is critical. The best way, okay, the best way to teach a proper behavior, all right, is to put a behavior management plan into action. And so it should be all the subject teachers in that class. Okay, but if you find it difficult, okay, to get your colleagues to work with you because they believe that they are like that. If they don't listen, you just shout at them or just throw them out of the class. If unfortunately you come from that environment, then you start with your own, okay, your own class, right? And I'll tell you one thing, it will be a very good witness if you're a Christian, that you are your class, the way you treat your class is different, and the children will see it, and so will your colleagues, and may give you, all right, it gives you an opportunity to shine for the Lord. And next, relationship matters. Very, very important. Okay. When you were in school, okay, did you have a favorite teacher? Okay, then we also have many teachers we didn't like. Okay, your favorite teacher. That is actually a relationship. Okay, so did you have fun discussing your favorite teacher? And then I'm going to ask, we are all teachers now. Are you like your favorite teacher? I hope you're not going to tell me that actually I'm more like the teacher I didn't like the most. Then problem. Okay, right. Okay, let me share screen again. Right, just now we were talking about behavior, and you learn 6 things about behavior. Okay. Next, what is the function of behavior? Okay, what's the function of behavior? What I'm asking is, why is the student like that? Why did she do that? So basically, all right, people behave in a certain way to get attention, to get access. Access means they want something. Okay? To escape, and then there's automatic. Let me go through. Okay. Attention is when, okay, children do something so that we will pay attention to them. One way of getting attention is to be a very good girl or very good boy, meaning, all right, always top in the class, homework is always done, etc. Okay, so these children get positive attention. Okay, now there are students who behave negatively, okay, and we as teachers or parents give them negative attention. Why are you doing that? All right. Now, negative attention. You know why? For children, any attention is desirable. Doesn't matter whether it's negative or positive. And I still remember Dr. La and I had to give talks the year before last, remember March 2020 when we started lockdown and all, quarantine. So I remember by about May, June, we were starting to give talks, and we spoke several times for several different organizations, and it was always on, all right, stress, how to cope at home. Okay, the adults when they have to do work, but at the same time, you got the children there, and then also have to, all right, get food ready, etc. And what happens is this. Have you all noticed? When the children are behaving well, that means they're sitting down reading, or they're what do you call that? They are playing quietly. We don't say anything. Wow, we do more work. Okay. Then when the child comes over, mommy or teacher cannot. No, don't disturb me now. Later. Okay. The child goes back. Now, what's the next thing after that? After a while, then we'll go there. Why are you all doing this? You don't know working. And after that, half an hour later, it happens again. Why? Your children are not getting any attention from you. So they suddenly realize that if they make noise and all that, they get attention from you, although it's negative. So in this kind of situation, scolding the children is not going to work. They want your attention. So what I did was this. I told the parents, and usually the mothers, have breakfast and all that, and then, okay, right, tell the children to do, okay, get some schoolwork done. And you put the clock, 15 minutes of schoolwork. They finish or not, doesn't matter, because you continue later, 15 minutes. So as soon as the 15 minutes up, you should have a timer. You go over there, very good, you've done your work. Now, okay, change the activity. All right, change the activity. Ask them to play with the Lego. Can you please construct 3 different things for me? Okay, you make 3 different things. So they'll go and do that. Then, all right, and you tell them you will be on your own for 20 minutes. When the alarm comes, and all right, we will go and have, okay, we'll have a break, and you can have your favorite drink. You do that. You come back. Then this time now, they can have 15, 20 minutes of TV, okay? And you will discover that the children don't disturb you because they know you already said you're coming back. Now, the next day or 2 days after that, you watch TV. Then after that, okay, you do your work. I will circle the pages I want you to do. Then, okay, and then you do this. You put an alarm there. So remember, TV for 20 minutes, yeah? Then when the alarm rings, you turn off the TV and you do your work. Okay? Now, so what happens actually is the children know that they're supposed to watch TV, then they do something else, do the coloring or whatever it is. And then after that, you say that you will come back for tea break. The next, so what happens is that every day you what? You chain, one activity to another activity to another activity to another activity until, all right, they can be on their own for almost an hour. Okay, without screaming and yelling. It's amazing. And by the way, this works for adults as well. Okay, whether it's your husband or your mother or somebody, it actually works. Now, access. Okay, have you all heard of reward or star charts? Star charts actually focus on access. Okay, so you tell the children every time they do 1, 2, they brush their teeth twice a day, whatever, they will collect charts. Then when they get how many charts, then okay, they get an ice cream, whatever is it that they like. Okay, and I'm telling you this to make your life earlier next time, you need to train children from young that access to Wi-Fi and access to computer and access to phone is a privilege. It is not their right to have a phone. It's not their right to use a computer anytime they want. It is a privilege. If not, you're going to have what's happening now. My husband had a student, I think form 3. This was before the COVID. Results were the PT3, correct? The trial exam results are horrible. So the father, all right, didn't waited for the boy to go to school. Then he took the son's computer and locked it up. Okay. When the boy came back, computer gone. Asked the maid. Maid said, "Bapak sudah ambil." So he waited for the father. He tried to call the father. The father wouldn't answer. When the father came back, he immediately asked for the phone. The father said no. They started arguing. Then he hit his father. The father fell and then cut his head. Lucky he didn't die. Cut his head on I think it was on the coffee table or something.
Sounds so bad.
Yeah, it's actually happening. Okay, you have children and teenagers who scream and yell when the parents are trying to get their phone away until the parents malu, because of the neighbors keep quiet. And now I have problems whereby this is what I actually have to tell parents. Mrs. Wong, I am very worried about your son, Jasper, because his behavior has changed. He doesn't seem to have energy when he comes in the morning, all right? He puts his head on the table and he sleeps. Last time he used to come in and then he will run around with his friends. All right? And then he doesn't want he doesn't want break time. He'd rather sleep. So, Mrs. Wong, what time does Jasper go to bed? Jasper is a very good boy. He goes to bed at 10. And then I have to tell Mrs. Wong, I'm sorry, Mrs. Wong, I think Jasper goes into the room at 10 and only sleeps at 2. Okay? So, macam mana? You have to take away the computer, right? Parents are afraid to take away the computers. I have a student in my school, okay? Form 4. When the mother threatened to remove the computer, he said that he's going to jump from the apartment block. Of course, mother panicked. Okay? So when they are young, please tell them, okay, you keep the computer, you keep the phone. When it is time for them to use, you bring it out. So now what I'm teaching the parents to do in my school is all phones and all laptops and whatever devices, tablets, all go into mother's or parents' room at, say, 9:30. Wow, the first few days are really terrible. The children will behave and put on their worst possible behavior, and I told the parents to tahan. Okay, tahan. Right? Because you know why? It's like an addiction, you're taking it away. Okay? So remember, children will want access to certain things. Okay? You can decide how they access it. and when. Escape. Don't want to do the work. Okay, escape because don't want to do the work. How many of us here have experienced this? I lost my book. Adakah? I lost my book. Adakah? Most likely, they didn't do the work. They don't know how to do the work. So that's why I lost my book. Right? Now, automatic. Are those of you who have experienced children with autism may actually notice this. Some of them will, when they walk around, they walk on their tiptoe. And they do this with their hands. Flapping. Okay, flapping. So, sometimes the behavior that the children, the function that they want actually is sensory. Okay, so one thing is this, sucking the thumb is sensory. Okay, sucking the thumb is sensory. All right. The other one that a lot will do is this. They rock back and forth with that. Especially when some children are upset, they rock back and forth. That is also sensory. It's the feeling that they enjoy. Okay. Now, we need to learn our ABC. Okay. When it comes to understanding behavior and modifying behavior, we need to learn our ABC. A is the antecedent, B is behavior, and C is consequence. Antecedent will be events or interactions that happen before the behavior occurs. So, when the child was sitting down and reading and then playing quietly, okay, mother doesn't give any response. Child comes and says, "Mommy, wait, okay." So the child is really upset, already, right? Then after that, there will be some argument with the sibling. So the antecedent actually is what? The child not being given attention, and when he asked for the mother's attention, the mother, all right, refused. So the behavior is, all right, started squabbling with the sibling who gets to play the Lego set. Okay, and then what is the consequence? If it's at home, most likely what will happen is that mother will stomp over to the living room and shout at the children. And sometimes what, even take away the whole, you cannot share means you don't play, take away the whole Lego. Okay, and then what happens after that? The children, they cry. Consequence. Okay, so that's A, B, C. So let's have a look at this. The antecedent. Ask Lucy to begin handwriting. Most younger children don't like to do handwriting. Then the behavior is what? Lucy swears at her teacher. She stands up, knocks over her chair, and the book also falls on the ground. Okay, then she stomps out of the classroom and sits on the top step of the stairs there. Okay, what is the consequence? The consequence would be that the teacher will report what happened, and someone from the discipline office or student welfare office will come and take her to the office. All right. Now, why do you think Lucy started swearing and all that, the teacher, when the teacher asked her to start writing? The teacher asked her pretty nicely, "Yeah, Lucy, you can start work now," or something. I'm not shouting at her. Now, if you did this, "Lucy, how many times must I tell you to start writing?" Then, but that didn't happen. The teacher just asked her to begin handwriting, and then she reacts. Okay. Do you think she's reacting to the teacher, or do you think she's reacting to the work? Okay. Highly likely, I mean, if the teacher has been polite, etc., and all that, then highly likely the problem is with the handwriting work. So now you must be Sherlock Holmes. Okay, now you need to go and find out about Lucy's handwriting. So you go and look at some of her exercise books and all that, and speak to the teacher. And you suddenly discover that, okay, Lucy has difficulty with handwriting. Okay, she only learned the whole sequence of A to Z, okay, when she was 7 years old. A to Z, she learned. Usually nowadays, the kids learn kindergarten. 7 only, she learned how to write A to Z, learn to remember A to Z, and then it was own, and she was not very sure of the order. Okay, and then now we are halfway through the school year. Okay, whenever handwriting work is given, she will find excuses. Okay, she has also lost her handwriting book, but she has never done this before. This is the first time that she reacts like this. So what does it tell you about Lucy? Look, are you going to tell me Lucy is a naughty girl? Okay, the word naughty is too general. It doesn't tell you anything, because naughty is different for different people. Okay, so what happens is that Lucy does not like to do handwriting. Okay, now why is it Lucy doesn't like to do handwriting? I go and check. First thing you check is this, the pincer grip. You know when you hold your pencil? Yeah. Have you noticed, younger children, they'll put the pencil here like that and then grip it like this and try and write like that. Okay. So whatever it is, in kindergarten, they're supposed to learn what we call the pincer grip. But if Lucy has problem with the pincer grip, okay, that may be why she doesn't like handwriting. Because when you have a problem with the pincer grip, it's a bit uncomfortable to write. It can actually be painful. So if that is the situation, you need to go and if you want, you go to popular bookshop, you can buy the pencil grip from the section where they have stationery, or alternatively, you want it there and then get a rubber band, and then you twist the rubber band around the pencil near the nib where you hold, okay? And then you tell Lucy to hold there. So that will teach her how to hold. Another thing is this. You also need to do hand exercises to strengthen the fingers for proper writing. And then then after that, if you know that Lucy is now only trying to learn how to grip the pencil properly, okay, and the muscles are rather weak, do you give a lot of handwriting or a lot less? A lot less. Okay, first you start off with, all right, maybe one sentence, and you focus on accuracy and formation of correct formation of letters, not on anything else. Just focus on that. Don't, even if she has to take half an hour to do it, you praise her. Okay. Now, what if Lucy has always been doing this? Any subject also. Yeah, if any subject when she's asked to do work, this is how she will react. Then what happens? Then we need to see whether there is an emotional problem here. Now, one thing to take note of is if there is trouble in the family, the children usually will exhibit it. Okay, so if there is problem, for example, the adults are quarreling in the house, it can mean the father-in-law, the grandfather, grandmother, and all that. It may show in the child. Okay, very grumpy and all that. Okay, not like the usual self. If father and mother are arguing and on the verge of divorce, the behavior can be worse. Basically, there are going to be two types of behavior. Total opposite. One will be very angry, shouting, okay, very fussy about everything. The other side is getting quieter and quieter, don't want to say anything. Okay, and sometimes once in a while you may see the child actually crying, but no sound at all. Two extreme ends, yeah? Okay. Now, these are some triggers why children suddenly behave in certain ways. You have internal antecedent and external antecedent. Internal is you inside. sickness, pain, temperature, psychiatric illness. For example, the child may actually be what? Having what? Anxiety and maybe even depression. By the way, yes, children, okay, in preschool level age children can get antidepressant, can get depressed. And let me tell you this, the youngest suicide victim in Penang was 9 years old. Okay, so a child as young as 9 can actually commit suicide. So be careful. Past experience, something you remember. So example, if the grandfather just passed away and you are reading a storybook, okay, you're reading a story, for example, the enormous turnip for younger children or whatever book it is for the older, suddenly what has happened? Flashback to the grandfather, then start getting upset or start crying. Okay, hungry and thirsty teenagers and children, okay, get upset. Okay, but be careful if they're hungry and thirsty. Please don't give them food that has a lot of what? Chemicals, a lot of fat, all right, and not a lot of sugar. Why? If you have a child who has ADHD in your classroom and he is drinking a lot of sugar, taking drinks with a lot of sugar, you're going to see, all right, that he cannot sit still. Yeah. Fatigue, if they're very tired, okay, they get upset easily. If they're taking medication for something, check. Sometimes it could be the side effect of the medication. External incidents around us. Other people attack them, other people be scolding and yelling at them, even hitting them. So for example, bullying. Their behavior will change. Others are challenging them. Weather conditions, especially very, very, very hot. Okay. A very crowded area is very hot. It can be noisy. Noise level, especially if you have next door's class, reciting something or other, and then change in routine, especially for young children. They don't like change in routine. Yeah. Okay. Now, what is the challenge for a teacher? Our challenge is to get them, all right, to learn. Okay, to get them to learn. They are spending what? Overseas, when I was teaching, it was from 8:30 to 3. Okay, 8:30 to, if it's younger children, it's usually to 2:30. The older will be 3 to 3:30. So you need to do something. You need to plan something that will keep them, okay, focused on their studies. Okay, and when children are focused on their work, you have less behavior problems, you have less discipline problems. Okay, and one more thing, remaining engaged in instruction essential to student academic and social success. Sorry, that's easier. What the children learn in kindergarten, in primary school, in secondary school, to sit down, follow instructions, okay, do the work and all that. They need this when they go to university. They need this when they go to work. And problem is, there is a certain culture of education, okay, which is actually very old-fashioned and very ineffective, especially nowadays when we are in the 21st century. And especially when for the past 2 over years, we all have been what? Teaching online. We didn't know how to teach online. We never learned online, but okay, we had to teach online. Yeah, and actually the techniques you use in teaching face-to-face is different from teaching online. Okay, we want class students like this, right? See, focused on their work. And then another wow, hands up, want to answer. All the students are looking forward. Wow, I want to have class. I want to have such students in my classroom. Okay, if you want to, this is what you must look at. Number 1, you need to set up environment. So it's the place where you have your class. Right? It's the place where you have your class. It can be in a classroom. It can be in what? The computer lab. All right. So set up the environment. What are your, these are the expectations. By the way, I will be giving you the PowerPoint. So it'll be easier for you. Number one, what do I want my classroom to look like? How do I want my students to treat me as a person? How do I want children to treat each other? What kind of information or what kind of values do I want to communicate to my students about the responsibilities of an adult, okay, an educator, a woman, or a man in today's society? Okay, and that was why people were so angry with that teacher. Okay, do you remember the male teacher who the student who spoke about, made some silly remarks about sex and relationship, and the student, the girl, spoke up. Ayn, remember Ayn? So as a student, okay, so as a teacher, what do you want them to learn about society? How do I want children to remember me? Okay, when they leave school. That's why I asked you just now, who was your favorite teacher and why? Okay, we can remember our favorite teachers, right? How many of our not so, do you remember your so-so teachers? But yes, monster teacher you'll remember. Okay, you remember the excellent teacher and the monster teacher. So which one do you want to be to your student? And Nick, I like the last question. There's a star next to it. How can I change my instruction or my teaching to help my students develop the skills I am trying to teach? I like what I think it was Albert Einstein who said, okay, insanity or madness is, okay, doing the same thing and again and again and expecting a different result. Insanity is doing the same thing again and again, but expecting a different result. So if you're all right, you've been teaching and it's not the, what do you call that, the results or the outcome is not very good, stop yourself. Stop. How can I change the way I teach? Right. Right. Now, first, remember this. Classroom expectations and rules must be defined and taught, which means you need to teach them the class rules. Okay. Next, how things are done, the procedures and routines must be defined and taught. Let me tell you what I found wonderful about teaching in England. Okay. Do you know you do not have students going around collecting the books for the teacher? What happens is that usually we have color-coded baskets or trays in the classroom. So red would be all, okay, red would be all the work that is going out, which means what? I've marked it and all that, right? Red, okay? Whatever work, okay? Now green, okay, will be the work they're supposed to hand in. All right? And then say, for example, blue or orange will be the worksheets they're supposed to use. So what happens is that they walk into class, all right? They go to the blue basket, they will take their worksheet. Any work they want to hand in, they put it in the correct basket. Whatever work I have written, they will collect, they go and sit down. So what happens is that there's less noise and all that. Think about it. How do you want, okay, the students to behave as they're walking in and then as they sit down? But I must say one thing about UK. In secondary schools, okay, each teacher has his or her own classroom. So I had Miss Indranee Liew's English classroom. And that's why I had all my trays and all that. That's one thing very good. So if they want scissors and colored paper and all, whatever it is, it's already in the classroom. Now, strategies to acknowledge appropriate behavior. What are you going to do? What are you going to say? How are you going to behave when the students, all right, behave? It's not misbehavior now, it's great behavior. You need to what? Acknowledge that. Okay? You need to acknowledge that. And guess what? Acknowledge appropriate behavior, okay? 4 to 1. 4 praises to 1 correction. You notice I would use the word correction. I didn't use the word reprimand. Okay. Here we use a lot of reprimanding. We don't do correction. So this is what happens. Okay. Why are you so rude? You don't know what. Okay. What I do actually is, I'll do. Yes. What are you supposed to say? I gave you your work. Oh, thank you. Can you say that again with my name? Thank you, Miss Indranee. You're welcome. So that's what I do. So after I do it a few times, okay, they learn how to say please already. And thank you. Okay. Then after that, every time the student uses please, thank you, and all that, wow, great. You remembered the magic words. And they say, yes, high five. So after that, okay, if I keep on praising, okay, their good behavior, all right, it will what? It's like brainwashing them, you know. Frequency of 4 to 1, so 4, okay, praises to 1 correction. So just now, what I did, and what are you supposed to say? That is not a reprimand, that is a correction. Okay, so you get the child to practice, you get the child to do what you want them to do. Then next, number 4 is, what are your strategies to respond to inappropriate behavior or misbehavior? So I have decided when my children don't know how to say please and thank you, I'll go, okay, they know that sound, right? Or, Jane, have you forgotten something? All right, so no need to shout. Then make sure your students are actively supervised, which means don't sit in front and do your own work. And the worst is when you sit in front and you are using your phone. You don't know how many times students come and complain about their teachers doing that. You know why they're complaining? Because they are not allowed to play with their phone. Okay? So don't do that. So active supervision is walking around and all that. And active supervision also means if there is a child you're not going to have a lot of problem. Remember our Lucy and her handwriting? This would be the time for you to go and have a look at what Lucy is doing and give her somewhat encouragement. Yep. Okay, next. Children are given multiple opportunities to respond. So what does that mean? Is the child doesn't respond the first time, you wait, then you encourage again and again. One thing, we all are pretty, what's the word called? We are quite impatient. Right, what's the answer? Okay, what do you think is the answer? You know there's too short? 20 seconds. 20 seconds. You're supposed to wait 20 seconds. Okay. Because some people's brains don't work so fast. So 20 seconds. All right. Because I also teach children with special needs, it's not just 20 seconds. I can even wait up to 2 minutes. Okay, right. Now, this is important. Instruction is differentiated based on student need. So, Lucy, other children, okay, are copying or writing, all right, half a page, you know. Now, Lucy doesn't, okay, fingers are not strong at the moment, and she's having some difficulty with a pencil grip. So are you going to ask her to write the same amount as the other children, or will you give her less? You will give her less because she has to put in much more effort to get it right. So you differentiate your teaching. Okay, you differentiate it. Basically, is this. When you teach, you know that some kids are going to be the A students. Some are going to be the B students. Okay, and some are going to be the C. Check first. Why is it that why are the C students there? Is it because they have not been given very good teaching? Okay, if that is so, then you can slowly build them up. Or do they have special needs? In a way, Lucy has special needs, isn't it? Right? So if the person has special needs and is getting D and E, the fact that you can support them to move up to C is already very good. All right. Then the B students, why are they B? You ask yourself. All right. And the work given is differentiated. In England, when we prepare work for students, we are required to produce 2 worksheets, HA and LA, high achievement and low achievement. Now, next thing is this, okay? How are you going to prevent it from happening again? Remember Lucy? Don't want her shouting and screaming and running out of the classroom again. So what can we do? Okay. First of all, make sure you know how you're going to manage students, all right, behavior. If it's very minor infractions or very small areas, for example, my thank you, my students didn't say thank you. Why did you say thank you? You're so, rude. Well, your mother never taught you, is it? You always hear that, right? Don't know why the mother came into it, but okay. So didn't say thank you. So there's a very minor thing. I address it quickly, and all right, in my case, all right, is publicly, all right, but I do not embarrass the child. Yeah. Other infractions, you may need to bring the child to the front or even just outside the classroom door to deal with it privately. Next, as a school, you will have disciplinary procedures for major incidents like what, bullying, fighting, and all that. Now, once the child, okay, it has happened, like Lucy, it has happened. So what are we going to do? We're going to debrief and plan to prevent. So you will discuss with a colleague, all right, or you think about it yourself. Okay, Lucy did this, now what do I do to prevent it? What does Lucy need? Lucy needs to learn how to hold the pencil properly and then learn how to form the letters correctly. What can I do to help her? Number one, I will give her less writing to do. Number two, I will praise her more. Okay? That's what we want to do. Next, be careful. Number one, behavior. It's just behavior. All right? What does that mean? Most of the time when the children get upset and, all right, take it out on the teacher, it's not you they're upset about. It's not personal. It's because they have certain needs and they want those needs met. So in the morning, there was an argument at home between mother and father. Okay, and then when father sent the boy to school, secondary boy, form 2 boy, okay, when the boy asked him something, the father growled at him. So when he got out of the car and walked into school, he was already upset. Okay, and then after that, kena marah from a teacher, boom. Okay, so usually it is not personal. Number two, behavior is learned. So therefore, if behavior can be learned, then behavior can be taught. You can teach them what behavior you want, teach them appropriate behavior. And behavior if it can be learned, then it can be unlearned. You can teach them what we call replacement behavior. Okay, so what you see all right, of the child's behavior is a result of the child's past. Usually, what happened to school when he was in primary school or kindergarten. It could be a result of poverty. Like our B40 children, when we started online teaching in March in 2020, what was the first problem? The B40 families did not have laptops and tablets. Okay? Disability. There are some children, all right, and this one I have to tell is that I was very upset. A boy in Form 1 killed himself. Okay, nice boy. Okay, good boy, polite boy, but very slow doing work, can never finish. So what happened was that one particular teacher embarrassed him in front of everybody, and you must understand, teenagers are very particular. So he killed himself. And after that, my husband had to do a debriefing with the school. And guess what? From what we heard, the boy was dyslexic. That's why he was slow in doing, and that's why every time they had asked him to erase and do again. When he was in primary school, okay, they managed him. But in secondary school, there's a lot more work, you see. So disability, this is the worst thing, actually led to death. Academic failure has always been failing. I am very particular about this, academic failure, and I will say more about this later. Language. We have a lot of children from Tamil schools and Chinese schools go to Kebangsaan school, they're in trouble. Especially because the BM and English in Kebangsaan school is of a higher standard than in Chinese primary and Tamil primary. So then when they go to, so they can get A, and all right, and then after that they go to secondary school, they find learning a lot more difficult. All right, teach the children what you want them to do. Have you heard this? Something like this? That also you don't know how to do. Huh? So stupid, no? But when I was young, I could all this. Yeah, it does happen. But the thing is this. When you do that, you feel better after that. Why? Lega already. Okay, because you ventilated your feelings. But the child there, all right, just got dumped, like a tsunami, got dumped and drowned in your feelings. And okay, that child is still going to be unable to do what you wanted him to do. So do this. You don't know how to do it, is it? Okay, come, let me show you. And you teach. Okay? Teach. Why? Different homes, okay, different people, different countries. People do things differently. Even the way they fry an egg is different, isn't it? Yeah? The way they cook eggs. So therefore, teach. Don't presume that they should know. Focus on academic and social success in terms of linear growth, not absolute. Now, what does that mean? Like that. People will make progress slowly. All right. So don't expect the D child suddenly after you teach 1 or 2 times zoom to A. No. The D will go to C first, okay, and B. And this smile when your students are doing, all right, to the best of their ability. Pause, look around, step back, and you smile. Why? Because the person of the teacher is extremely important because you set the tone for the whole classroom. Okay? So to be an inspiring teacher, you need to be sincere, you need to be respectful, and you need to have joy in teaching. This year, would be celebrating my 33rd year anniversary of teaching, and I still enjoy it so much, and I think I shall be very happy to go on for another 20 years. Whether my students will be happy for me to go on another 20 years, I don't know, but I will be happy to go on for another 20 years because I enjoy teaching. All right. Now, wait, 1 minute. Okay, here. I'd like to go through this. This is what I really liked when I was abroad. I learned to do this. You get the children to think about their behavior. It's called a behavior think sheet or behavior reflection sheet. Okay. Okay. What did I do? What did I choose to do? Okay. I was not practicing safe behavior. I was pushing or yelling or kicking or running or hurting or being unkind to someone. So they circle it. Then, why did you do this? Okay. If the children are too young to know how to write, the teacher or the teaching assistant does it for them. Then now, next time I will, okay, next time, what will you do instead? I'll breathe. We teach them, breathe in, breathe out. I take a break, go and get a drink. I use a fidget toy. I count 1 to 10. I think happy thoughts. I am kind and I talk calmly. So which one will you do? Then after that, how will you make? Okay, and then I promise to what next time? So you know what is happening or not? You are actually teaching the children that, okay, there is antecedent and there is what? Behavior and the consequence, right? Correct or not? This was the behavior, correct? And then what happened? This, you can write the consequences. And then here, next time you learn, next time what can I do instead? And this is good. I love this one. Good choice or bad choice? Color the good choices green and the bad choices red. Listening, being messy. So listening is good. Being messy is bad. Helping others good. Swinging, pushing the chair there is bad. Raising my hand is good. So do you realize that when you go through all this with the children, they're actually learning about behavior? Okay? Expected behavior and unacceptable behavior. Right. This is for older children, like in secondary school. Behavior. Okay, so antecedent, behavior, then consequence. What did I do? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now how do I feel now? How has my behavior affected other people? What are the other consequences? And down here, I love this. Plan for improvement. Very good, right? You are actually teaching them. Plan for improvement. Wow, when I went there and I saw, I said, wow. All right. Then this will go into the student's file. Okay. Right. I said I want to talk to you all about academic. All right. Learning loss versus learning recovery. What happened was during the COVID, the kids didn't go to school. And all right. And then we had online teaching. But the online teaching, all right, there was difficulties. Some children didn't have the devices. Then there were others who couldn't focus. And then there were others whom I caught. Okay. Let's see, these 3 boys are from standard 4. 3 boys. Teacher got upset and told me, don't know what's wrong with them. Okay. They are not paying attention or something. All right. How were they last time? Oh, the last 4 months have been okay. Now I don't know what's happening. Okay. When I ask them questions, they don't know how to answer. All right. So I said, no, okay, invite me into the group. I found out what happened. You know what happened? The 3 standard 4 boys were online playing a game with each other. What they did was that half the screen was the game, the other half of the screen was Zoom. So after a few months on computer, they learn all these things. So I caught them. You know how I caught them? Because one of the boys was wearing glasses. I saw blue reflected here. and the Zoom was not blue. Okay, and then so what happened was, I have these most wonderful ways of tackling misbehavior. So this is what happened. Called the parents to say that, can you please tell your boys that it is a privilege. I love the word privilege. It's a privilege to be allowed to sit in your classroom for classes. However, okay, since you have betrayed our trust in you, so you cannot sit in your bedroom anymore. You will study downstairs at the dining table. Because, you know, you put the computer there, people are walking up and down. Not bad, huh? I don't score and I will figure out what to do in a way that will hurt them a bit. Okay. So now, there was a lot of learning loss. Okay? There was a lot of learning loss. So now, you need to focus on learning recovery. Okay? Now, let me show you. Okay. Yang ni apa ni? This is the kuih lapis from Sarawak, right? And then this is the, what's it? This is the kuih lapis also. Okay, and these are cupcakes. Okay. Listen. Mathematics. Do you think mathematics is a kuih lapis subject, or do you think it's more like a cupcake subject? What's the difference between cupcake and kuih lapis? Which one is easier to make? I think the cupcake. Correct? Easier to take, pack and go. This is kuih lapis. So mathematics, is it kuih lapis or cupcake? Mathematics is kuih lapis. So if you don't know how to identify 1, 2, 3, okay, and you don't know how to write 1, 2, 3, you're going to have trouble in year 1, isn't it? Okay. Once you know that, you must know how to add 1 plus 1 and all. So what has happened actually is that we have had children who are at kindergarten level and year 1 who did not learn the basics of literacy and numeracy. ABC, okay, and 1, 2, 3. They don't have the basics. Then what happened is that they enter the next level of class. So kindergarten, okay, didn't learn in kindergarten or missed kindergarten. Then went into year 1 and they asked to do year 1 things. And then year 1 also, they missed like half, about, you know, almost half of it. All right, class on, off, online, offline, online, offline. Then now they're going to enter now, as in 2 weeks, tomorrow, yeah? They're going to enter year 2. What are some of the problems? Can they do year 2 maths if they don't know year 1 maths? No. So I was making a lot of noise to the Pejabat Pelajaran Pulau Pinang about this and saying that we need to identify what is the learning loss and then work out learning recovery, what we can do. So that what's going to basically mean is that when the kids step into year 2, you cannot teach them year 2. The kids step into year 1, you cannot teach them year 1. It's going to be the same thing like Form 1, they didn't finish all the maths. Now they're going on to Form 2 maths, going to have a problem. And I tell you what's the other problem. The other problem is additional mathematics. Yeah. Okay. So let's have a look at this chart here. This actually is the zone of proximal development is by Vygotsky. Yeah? What this is the child. What the child can do. Then this one here, with help, I can do it. This one, cannot. Okay? Now, where is your child? Where is your student? You're going to do it for each student. Where are your students? Right? First, you got to go and figure out what is it they can do, what they know. Okay? What they need help to do. This is very important. You must, all right, give the right support, because if not, they cannot progress on to the next one. So what I hope we're not doing this, This is what the child can do, and then after that we shove them into year 2, and then they are here. Okay, they are here. So now you understand why I'm talking about lapis. Where's my lapis? You cannot have layer 1, layer 2 empty. Okay, layer 3 is empty, and then go on to layer 4. That's what I mean. Okay, now English, mathematics, Bahasa Malaysia, okay, definitely kuih lapis subjects. History, geography, moral can actually be cupcake just is by topic. Okay, so figure out first which is it. And next, you are human, so are the students. So how are you feeling? Okay, there is a happy thermometer, sad thermometer, angry thermometer, worried thermometer, tired and annoyed. And this any one of this, if you are, like you're high up, you are at 8, 9, 10. If you're up here at 8, 9, 10, you're not going to be feeling very nice. And when you're not feeling very nice about yourself, you don't respond to other people nicely. For teachers, if you're feeling upset, step back, go and get a cup of iced coffee or something, okay? And give the children something to do, and then you sit down. Okay, don't say anything. Because when we are very angry, when we are very annoyed, we are tired, okay, we will say things that are not appropriate. Okay, and because of that, think about your children this way. Your children have feelings too. And they are young. Nobody taught to them how to regulate their emotions, emotional regulation. So when they're annoyed, they go rah, rah at you. When they're angry, they rah at you. Okay, you need to teach them other techniques. For example, for angry, there's something called anger management. Yeah. Next, a lot of stress. Okay, especially now with us, you're going back to school and trying to start the new academic year. All right. Now, what can you do about stress? A. Avoid unnecessary stress. So, okay, in the morning, rushing off to work, okay, you know that you are going to rush out to work. So what do? You prepare something for breakfast the night before. Like you've got a bun or something, okay? Change a stressful situation. You may need to move your house closer to your place of work, or change your place of work. All right? Or you have to adapt to it. You need to change to it. Okay? So it's not possible to move closer. So what do? What you tell yourself is, I'll have to sleep half an hour earlier so that I can get up half an hour earlier and drive, okay, before the jam. And the last one, there are things you cannot change. Okay? You cannot change how tall you are. Yeah? So, some people may feel very upset because they feel shy because they're very tall. They're 6 feet, so everyone goes, wow. And then you know what they do? They hunch when they walk. I've seen some. Right? I like this circle. Okay, these are the things that I can control. I can control how I react to things. So remember just now, teaching the children to what the behavior, the change, what behavior they should, how they should behave in future. I can control my choices. Here, okay, can actually also be food. Right? So especially there are people, say for example, if they've got diabetes and they also have a sweet tooth, they have to choose. Maybe what they do is this: once a week, every 7 days, you just take something sweet. The other days you don't. You have to choose. You're going to, basically it's good, you're going to choose life or a very uncomfortable life. You can control how you treat other people, and you can control what you think about yourself. All right. Now, you cannot control. Okay. You cannot control how people treat each other. You cannot control what people do and say, especially, okay, especially nasty things. Huh? You cannot control what people think about you. And finally, I cannot control my circumstances. So 2 years ago, something that we couldn't control came, COVID. Okay, so what do? How you react to COVID, you can control. Okay, my choice here will be, I will use sanitizer, I will wear mask, for example. Okay, how will I react to things? I will, okay, I know it's going to be more difficult to teach online, okay, but I am going to learn how to do it better. So this is things I can control circle. I love it. Okay, this is something that the teachers, executive functioning skills is something that was something that was discovered about 15 years ago by Dr. Russell Barclay, who is a child and adolescent psychiatrist. And what he realized is that some of these ADHD children were having difficulty in school because they lacked executive function skills. And if you look at the executive function skills, you will realize that these are the skills that we need also, isn't it, when we're working? Correct? So, all right, we are noticing that our teenagers all seem to have trouble with this. And one of the reasons I can tell you is because they're living a very, very, very good life. If they were living like 40 years ago, families are poor, children are expected to do work, help out with work, and then go out to school and come back and help again, etc., it will be different because they will learn these skills. But our students are not put in a situation where they can learn this, so we need to teach them how to do it. Okay. Let me see the time. I think we won't be able to have the group discussion. So this is what I would like to show you all before we go. There is something called, before I have questions, sorry. There is something called fixed mindset and growth mindset. Fixed mindset, look, this guy is sitting outside here and there's a what? There's a lock. Huh? Growth mindset, okay, keeps growing, keeps developing. If you have a growth mindset, you will say things like, I can learn anything I want to. When I'm frustrated, I persevere. I want to challenge myself. When I fail, I learn. Tell me, I try. If you succeed, I'm inspired. My effort and attitude determine everything. Fixed mindset is the direct opposite. I'm either good at it or I'm not. When I'm frustrated, I give up. I don't like to be challenged. When I fail, I'm no good. Please tell me I'm smart. Okay, if you succeed, I'm threatened by you. And my abilities determine everything. Okay, so basically, when, all right, a person has a growth mindset, okay, they develop themselves, okay, and they learn more, okay, academic as well as personal, okay, social. Whereas fixed mindset is the direct opposite. Okay, I cannot learn much. I don't want to be challenged. I don't want to try in case I fail. Oh, it's too hard. No, I don't want. Okay, so it's going to be quite obvious to you which mindset we need and which mindset our students need. We need to develop a growth mindset. Okay, develop a growth mindset. This theory was developed by Professor Carol Dweck at Harvard. Next, for your classrooms, this is one of the easiest techniques. Use the word of respect and tell your students, okay, you're going to teach them, follow the 3 R's, respect. So respect yourself, respect others, and you are responsible for all your actions. This, respect, R-E-S, okay, so respect each other, respect yourself, respect property, that means things. the environment, the classroom, and the teacher. Respect means treating others the way you want to be treated. So please use your manners, be polite, have patience, and put other people first. I will show respect. How? I will listen to others. I will follow the rules. I will be an honest person. I will be responsible. I'll be kind. I will be helpful. So you'll notice that you are actually telling and showing the students what are the actions. I will listen. I will follow. I will be honest. I want you to respect. You must respect each other. No. Okay? Respect. Okay. You go on. Cannot. You need to tell them. Or respond in an appropriate manner to everyone. Encourage. Don't discourage. Stay in your own personal space. Okay? That means don't go to others. Go and catch out other students. Pay attention and participate. Excellence only. No sloppy work or excuses. Come prepared to learn and take responsibility for your actions. This is actually something that is difficult for most people, adults. Okay, and your students are going to what? Be resistant. Some of them very resistant. So just now, I think I had Jolene telling me about the student. Okay, I won't do it. Okay, I can't do it. Okay. These two are I won't and I can't. You're not going to get them to do anything until you sit down and deal with their emotions. Okay. I want to do it. Ding. Okay. Can change that. Then, how do I do it? I'll try to do it. I can do it. I will do it. Yes, I did it. Now, one of the things that one example I find useful is this. I tell my students, hey, what is the latest computer game? Okay, very good. Then I put this up. When you first started, where were you? They don't have this. They said, I can't do it. Why? Haven't learned yet. I said, oh, okay. Then after that, you want to try, so you, all right, you download it, right? And then finally, I'll ask them, so how do you get more and more points? You know, as I try, I learn now. See? You can do that with your studies. Okay, so thank you very much for listening, and I'll give time for questions. This is my phone number and WhatsApp number. You are welcome to contact me, but please do note that I may not be able to answer you immediately, so please give me 2 or 3 days.
Thank you very much, Datin Indranee. Perhaps now we can take some questions. We don't have very much time, but perhaps a few questions. Please unmute yourself and ask. Yeah. Introduce yourself, okay? Or if you're really, really very shy, put it in the chat.
Hi, Datin.
Hi.
I'm Daphne from WMSPI, Penang. So I would like to ask that in subjects, is it beneficial for students to be streamed according to their ability, or is it better to teach a class that has a varying ability for mathematics in that sense?
Whenever I consult to a school, okay, whenever I consult to a school for secondary classes, I always insist that maths and English be streamed, because maths and English are both what subjects? What do you think? Are they layer cake subjects, or do you think they are cupcake subjects?
A layer.
So if you're going to have, okay, 2 or 3 students, okay, in Form 2, but their mathematics is standard 5 level, it's going to be very difficult. Right?
Yeah.
So that is when the thing about dividing the students according to their ability, the thing is this: it's like all the English classes in secondary school and all the math classes in secondary school will have to be at the same time. all the English at the same time, maths at the same time. And so that is a problem sometimes because you don't have enough teachers to be running all the classes at the same time.
Yeah. But will, like, when you group all bad students together, like less able students, sometimes there's a tendency to have more behavioral issues because they're like, oh, I also cannot do already. So they will just amplify it together.
So then we need to get that circle that I was using, the Vygotsky circle, what I can do with help, and what I cannot do even with help.
Yeah.
Yep. So first thing you need to do is find out what I can do for those students and give them some work based on that so that they can do it, they feel good. Feel good, right? Okay, but let's do one step. Okay, you take one step. Okay, it's okay when you make mistakes. Okay, it's okay you make mistakes because you are trying. All right, okay. Tell them what to do. But mathematics, especially, the problem is a lot of students are stupid because in primary school so they didn't do so well, and in secondary school mati lah. Yeah, so you need to be able to make it a little bit fun. Okay, because anything that is a bit fun, okay, it's easier to go past this barrier, then you'll enter inside.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the other thing you can do is this. If it is not possible for all this classes all maths and English classes for secondary school to be held at the same time, another thing that you could do is this. You have another teacher, who comes in and takes those few children who are lower level aside.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
that would be much easier to manage. Yeah, and ask another teacher to do it. Then the other thing is that you need to be able to assess where the child's level actually is. So if the child is at standard 5 level, but he's in year form 2, then so the teacher needs to go back to standard 5 work, do some bits there like revision, and the child can do, the child will be very happy, then go on to year 6 work and then form 1 work.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
May I ask?
Yeah.
How to help a few students that they have special need in a class, plus we have another student they already understand. So when I try to help the special needs student and other students finish their job and they become
okay.
out of control. Yes.
How old are these children?
7, 8.
7, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you need to do is this. Whenever you know that there are going to be some students who are going to finish the work fast, okay, you need to prepare something else. All right. So when you're you're teaching this other student, then when the children have finished, then you give them something else. Sometimes it can be a game. Okay. Sometimes it can be a puzzle. Okay, for them to do. So usually that will be helpful. I mean, because they're 7 years old, one thing that you could actually give them is you can actually even give them Lego. Wait, just hold on a minute. You can give them Lego to do. I've got it. Okay. Screen share. Can you see my Lego pattern cards? Can you see the
Yes.
So you can give Lego in a box, then after that you print this out for them, and then they must do the pattern, follow the pattern. Okay, some more.
Another question is relating to you were talking about learning loss and vs learning recovery.
Yeah.
So I think if we start to teach them based on where they are, and for sure it will affect to the timetable and curriculum in the school. So what is your advice?
Well, all of us will have a curriculum to teach for one academic year, right? The curriculum.
Yes. Yeah.
Let me get, yes, hold on. Okay, so this is your curriculum to teach. Yep.
Yes.
Now, our problems, if you are supposed to teach year 1, but because of the COVID, the children didn't go to kindergarten. Okay? When they come into year 1, these children, can you teach them year 1 work?
Cannot.
You cannot teach them year 1 work because they didn't do the kindergarten work. So what you need to do is stop the year 1 curriculum, then you take the kindergarten curriculum and teach, but you teach a bit faster. So you teach it in 2.5, 3 months, finish it. Okay. So once you have 2 or 3 months, you teach the kindergarten curriculum to prepare them for year 1. Then you go to the no choice. Okay, we have no choice. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your advices.
You're welcome.
Perhaps we can take one more question.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Ng here from SMK Jalan Damai, Penang. Okay, about the emotion, I'm sad, I'm happy. Just now the slide. I have a student. One day, he was really rebellious, and when I asked him to do anything, he would say, "What should I do?" and all that. So after that, because all this while he was quite good, So then I sent him to the disciplinary teacher. After being disciplined, and he came back, and I asked him, "Why were you so rebellious?" And he mentioned that he had a kind of kind of relationship, but then it was broken, so he felt pretty sad about that. So I was very curious. He's supposed to be sad because of the broken relationship, but how come he became so rebellious? So how can we help the student to manage his emotion in that way?
Okay. Now, all of us here, you are upset, okay? Quarreled with somebody, okay? Now, someone comes to ask you something. How will you talk to the person? Don't disturb me. Okay? Well, I mean, that happens what? Okay? Or, no, you don't disturb me. All right? And then, so that is what happens, because you see, whenever there is stress, okay, whenever we have stress, there are hormones and like adrenaline moving around the body. Okay, they take about an hour to dissipate. You take a bit of like an hour for all the chemicals to be, released. So because of that, that's why you are angry. Okay, and one thing is, women, when they are angry, they shout, then they cry. Men, they shout, they bang the table, or they bang you. Correct? Notice or not? It's because it's actually our body reaction. So once we know that we are angry, and we have been taught emotional regulation, anger management, step by step, then we can calm down very fast, or at least we can control our feelings. But our students have not learned that. Okay, and I'm telling you now, I am getting complaints that young university graduates who go out to work are behaving like what? Like what? 12, 13, 14 years old. Okay? Have you all been complaining that your secondary students are a bit very childish, immature? Yeah. Correct, right or not? You know, it is true. Okay? And in fact, guess what? Adolescents used to end at 19, right? Used to end at 19. Now, it's been extended to 24, 25. Okay? 24 and 25. And the sad part about it is, during the whole stretch of adolescence from 13 until about 24, 25, all right, the young people are not learning emotional regulation. They don't seem to be learning executive functioning skills because it's not taught. Okay? It's not taught.
Sorry to interrupt. Is there any modules or anything that we can actually tell them or share to them, like, teach them about this emotional regulation?
Yeah, there are. What you all can do is, I've given my phone number. You can contact me because I've got materials from UK, which you all can, Dr. Lai or I can go through with you all so that you all can run through it with your students. The materials are free. Okay, it's called Super Skills for Life. Super Skills for Life. I have the materials for primary school children as well as secondary children. Okay, given by a professor from the University of, I think, University of Wolverhampton, UK. Yeah, so I can do the training, no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah. In fact, actually, if we want to make a difference now, it's just that we have to start training the teachers, and then they can train the children and help them. Because if not, then you see, like just now we heard that the student wouldn't do the work, okay, and then was sent to the disciplinary teacher's office and then came back. But sometimes actually they are not sometimes, most of the time, it's not that they want to misbehave. They don't want to be naughty. They're not. They just cannot control themselves, their emotions. And you can learn to control your emotions. I believe that especially science students who can learn maths will definitely be able to learn emotional regulation. Okay? Maths was my worst subject ever.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. We have we wanted to make it a 1.5 hour, but we have gone to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And we really want to say a big thank you to Datin Indranee for having taught us so clearly and so generously. We really appreciate it. Even, I've always learned about wait time, and today I learned that the appropriate wait time is 20 seconds. That's a mighty long time. Yeah.
For us it's long. For the child, maybe not.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, everybody, and thank you, Datin Indranee. I've learned so much myself today. We really, really appreciate it. Okay, everybody say thank you. Unmute and say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bless you. Bye bye.